temperature's rising, it's now important to know proper safety procedures.
Shannon Lands of the Lucas County Health Department has some tips for staying cool during this heat wave.
Well, there's a few ways that folks can stay safe. Definitely know if you're at risk. If you're an elderly individual, if you're a child, if you have other serious illnesses, you may be more at risk than others just because of the fragile state that you may be in. Making sure that you stay hydrated. Drinking lots of water or non-alcoholic beverages even when you're not thirsty. Hydration is key. Being a good neighbor, checking on those who live around you, making sure that there aren't any issues, especially with some of the older individuals who live in the community. Encourage folks to stay inside where the air conditioning is, where it's a lot cooler and you're not out in the direct sunlight or the high humidity.
Would you be aware of some cooling center areas here in our county?
You know, we do open up cooling centers. At this point in time, I don't believe that there have been any identified. Generally, as soon as we hear of cooling centers, whether it's at some of the senior centers or other Red Cross shelters in the area, that we announce that through our social media, and I know that local media as well would provide that information out to the community.
And when we do have this heat and there is maybe a fatality or injury, who should people call?
People, if they are suspecting that there is an injury or they're not feeling well, they definitely should call their physician, and if it's emergent, to call 911 and be seen and treated right away. Well, the emergency rooms can't turn you away. If you are in a life or death situation and you need attention, you can go right into the emergency room and they will have to treat you.
And when people, when they are full and well, what could some people learn and take away from fatalities or injuries?
Just being educated, knowing what the signs of heat exhaustion or heat stroke look like, making sure if you do have to go out in the extreme heat, wearing loose fitting clothing, trying to stay in the shade, and maybe only going outside for small amounts of time, coming into the air conditioning, cooling off, staying hydrated, but also knowing your limits. When your body says, okay, enough is enough, or you have heavy sweating or nausea, vomiting, muscle cramps, something else is going on there, and just listen to your body.
When people do have heat stroke, is there a possibility for future heat-related incidents after having heat stroke?
Potentially. There may be some other underlying illness or issue that's going on. You may be more susceptible or even more sensitive to the heat, and just knowing yourself well enough to make a decision, because heat stroke can be life-threatening, especially if your body gets up to a temperature of 103 or higher. You have like a speeding or racing pulse, dizziness, nausea. Definitely call 911 and get immediate medical assistance. And then if you have someone with you, making sure if they are suffering from heat stroke that they are tried to cool off, sprayed with a garden hose or in the air conditioner, or even putting this individual in a cool tub of water to try to get their body temperature down.
And for like people that are coaches or coach outside activities, what would be your advice to them?
Well, folks that coach outside, and I think most high schools, as I used to be a high school coach, you are not allowed to run practices outside if it's above a certain temperature. Most of the time, coaches and schools and the different sports programs are very cognizant of the players and the health and the well-being, and they will cancel a sport if it is, I think, above 98 degrees outside. But if you do end up having practice and it's quite warm and maybe not quite to that threshold, making sure that you're giving your athletes plenty of breaks and ensuring they're drinking plenty of water.
And remember, do not forget about your pets. Now, if the pavement is too hot for you, it's too hot for their pads. Now, if you follow all these safety procedures, that will make for a great summer. Jefferson, Jaden Reports, Eyewitness News, Toledo.